Coming live from the city where there are more Buckeyes than human beings, Columbus, Ohio, it's Keyz Spot, starring McKinley.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much. My name is Keyz McKinley, host of Keyz Spot. Where it's going down is where I'm at. And today's topic is the United States Constitution. This is usually a boring topic that we're going to make hot and spicy and burnt, like a Trump Mexican burrito. So today, I'm here to educate the masses by taking a trip back to find out why it was important at the time, the creation of the Constitution, and why it's relevant today. I'm going to take you back to 1781 with the ratification of the Articles of Confederation, which is the original Constitution of the 13 colonies. According to WhiteHouse.gov, this agreement between the 13 states was drafted by the Second Continental Congress on July the 12th, 1777. Though it proved useful for a short time, the Articles of Confederation made the very new government extremely weak. According to ushistory.org, the central government conducted diplomacy and made war, set weights and measures, and was the final arbiter of disputes between the states. But more importantly, the central government could not raise any funds itself and was entirely dependent on the states for the money necessary to operate. That's like a 35-year-old lifetime student expecting money from their elderly parents on a weekly basis. Jane, get a job. Get a job, Jane. Now, let's take a closer look at this oxymoron. Our government was broke, which means no power, no army to protect us, ineffective because they could not create or enforce any laws, and did I mention, they were broke. Now, let's get to the breaking point. According to ushistory.org, at some time in the early 1780s, some Western Massachusetts farmers were upset because the rich was overtaxing the farmers. This resulted in the farmers losing their farmland and jailed if they owed taxes. The farmers began to organize a resistance, led by Daniel Shays, who was a former captain in the Continental Army during the American Revolutionary War. Dubbed Shays' Rebellion, this fight had the rich turning to the government for help. And guess what? Womp, womp, womp. There was no help. So James Baldwin, who was the governor of Massachusetts, organized a militia force which crushed the movement in the winter of 1786 to 87. Unfortunately, the debtors' discontent was widespread, and similar actions occurred on a smaller scale in Maine, then still part of Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, and Pennsylvania. And from here, we'll be right back with the formation of the Constitution. See you in a moment. Hey, and welcome back. Now, it became clear that a weak government was a mistake. So starting on May 14, 1787, there was the Constitutional Convention where delegates of 12 of the 13 states convened in Philadelphia. Question, where were you, Rhode Island? George Washington was unanimously voted to preside over the convention, and these founding fathers began the work of redesigning a new government. After much convening, discussions, and mad arguments, on September 17, 1787, in Independence Hall, 39 of the original 55 delegates signed the United States Constitution. The Constitution went into effect on March 4, 1789, and remains the oldest written national constitution in use today. Here is the 411 on what the Constitution says. The Constitution has a preamble which states, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America." From there, you have what we call the Articles of the Constitution. These 7 articles are the foundation of how our government works. According to wikipedia.org, the first article establishes the legislative branch, which is headed by Congress, consisting of the House of Representatives and the Senate. The second article establishes the executive branch, which is headed by the president, or as some of us like to call him, the POTUS. Then we have the third article, which establishes the judicial branch, which is headed by the Supreme Court of the United States. Article 4 outlines relationships between the state and federal government, as well as relations between state to state and state to others. Article 5 describes the process on how the Constitution can be altered. Article 6 establishes laws and treaties are made in accordance to the Constitution as the supreme law of the land, forbids religious texts and holding a government position, and the new Constitution was responsible for the debts incurred under the Articles of Confederation. Article 7 set the number of state ratifications necessary in order for the Constitution to take effect and the method in which the states may ratify the Constitution. According to wikisource.org, we also have a Bill of Rights, which is the term for the first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution. The Bill of Rights is the third of the 3 charters of freedom, along with the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Now, when we get back, how is any of this relevant today? We'll find out when we return. Welcome back, everyone. So, if you're thinking why the Constitution is important today, just take a good look at your life as an American right now, 2016. Look at our current political picture and the views of the world. With all this crazy foolery happening around the world, don't you want to live in a place that has a solid government structure which has stood the test of time? As an American citizen, are you not enjoying the pleasure of having freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly, and freedom of religious worship? There is a huge chunk of Americans who are ecstatic at our right to bear arms. Unlike other countries, in America, citizens are protected from unreasonable search and seizure, cruel and unusual punishments, as well as self-incrimination. More awesome, that if you do manage to get in trouble, you're guaranteed due process of the law and a speedy public trial with an impartial jury. If you're enjoying any of these privileges as an American citizen, then you got it better than most of the world. America has always been great, and our founding fathers laid a fantastic foundation for America to continue to grow towards greatness. So now we're at my final thoughts. It is my belief that America has the potential to reach heights beyond any known civilization based on our U.S. Constitution and the diversity of the American people. However, as American citizens, we as a collective whole must do better for each other. We can use the law of the land as a guide to help us learn how to treat each other with respect. From Black Lives Matter to the Ku Klux Klan, both groups have the right to assemble, so why can we not just respect that, since the Constitution gives all of us that right? You're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, atheist, there's more than enough Twitter and Facebook for opinions, so why not learn to get along, since the Constitution gives all of us the right to practice our beliefs? And that dirty word, racism. Why can't we talk about eradicating racism once and for all in the great United States of America? We can use our technology to reach and teach each other, be opening to learning something new, be compassionate in your judgments, and be willing to make a change. In the end, we can make America beyond incredible because we, as American citizens, decided to be the change we wanted to see, and that is our constitutional right. That concludes our show for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. A shout out to the Ohio Media School for making tonight possible. One love, and continue to be a blessing to someone. Peace and love.